Okay, just hit record, and yeah, that looks like it's getting my audio. Looks like it's getting Discord audio. So you are going to end up on YouTube if you speak, but I hope that doesn't discourage anyone. And if you type in a message, I'll print it out. So I'm going to run through these slides first so I can kind of give the artists an idea of what I'm presenting, what it's supposed to do, and what it can't do yet. And then I'll do some live demos of how it works. None of this stuff is plugged into a website yet, so the end goal will be you upload your files, you click some buttons, and then you get your item configured for people to wear it on Citopia. Right now, it's just I can make the configurations and I can show the avatar on my own computer. We haven't done the web part of it yet, so this is just the rendering today. And there will be bugs, although honestly it was cooperating kind of quite a lot before the presentation, so let's hope that keeps up. So here's Hello World. This is the basic Citopia avatar thing that I was able to put together, and that is just this hilarious beard that Mom, I guess, put together as an image, and the default avatar. The avatar could be swapped out just like any other piece of clothing, but I've only used this one avatar for all the demos today, but it's easy to swap out. Okay, so here's the process that we're ironing out, and I don't want any of the artists to take this as like law or me telling you how it works. This is my understanding, and I'm your partner in getting the correct understanding and making it work how we want if any of this is incorrect. But I always think it's better to start with a suggestion, and if that's right, then I'll just do the same exact thing. So the first step is that artists are going to draw their art, whether it's pants, shirt, accessory, anything like that. And then they are also going to make all the variations of it that they want and set up the rules of how that's going to be worn. So how many frames there are, how many variations there are, what the colors are called. All that stuff is up to the artist. And I just want to pass that information on accurately from the artist to the user. The user has some choices when they get an item. So that's like if different colors are available. I have no input at this time if like the different colors will be like items you purchase separately. We haven't talked anything about game mechanics at this point. We're just talking about how it'll be configured for items from the database to get put on top of avatar images. So if you have to pay extra for the additional colors, that's definitely a thing that we can do, but that's not part of this system right now. And then lastly, the system part, which is when someone says like, confirm this is what I want to wear, it's going to stack up all those images and create their avatar. Their avatar is going to be a single static image that's saved in the database or the content delivery network. That's not something the artists need to worry about. But what I demand that we do it that way because A, it's very efficient. I don't want users downloading 50, 60, 200, 300 images to stack them themselves on the web browser when there's different people in a thread with very different avatars. If there's 10 speakers and they all make 2 posts, that's 20 posts with 10 unique avatar images. You got to download all those avatars, but 1 image download per avatar. So that stacked image is what we want. That also protects your art, because if people can download the individual clothing, that means they can modify it. What they will actually get is your clothing along with other people's hair or other people's accessories in a single skin tone, all stacked into a single image. It protects the artist's control of the individual articles or individual items, and it makes it much more efficient for the web browsers to get those avatars. So all the stacking will be done on the server, and every user on the server will have a single finished avatar that they can change whenever they want by going to the wardrobe. Okay, so the artist submission side, this is the part where you artists get to tell the database how this item should be applied to avatars. And I think I'll go into this more later, but this step is for you to configure your items. What you do with that configuration is it will go through approval before people can actually use it. So if we have like community guidelines, we're looking for hate speech, we're looking for stray pixels. If your items don't meet the approval process, then that would be after this step. So you're able to kind of like go back and forth between Photoshop or whatever your tools are and the artist setup tools to make sure that your item behaves how you want. Then it will go on to approval and getting people a chance to put it on. So there will be like some numbers, some curly braces. I don't want any artist to panic about this. I am more than happy to help you use my system in any way that you need that help. So basically, if you give me an image, the image itself is not enough information to put it on the avatar unless that image is the same exact size as the avatar. And that's one very simple and very valid way to submit your art. I'm going to support that too. But if you have like a sprite sheet with multiple variants, or even like, I probably won't get too much into this unless some of the artists are really looking for details, but like animated stuff, a lot of color variants, style variants, color and style variants to make like a 2D grid of sprites. That all can be done, and that needs configuration data, which is going to be at least stored in the server and processed in JSON. And you probably won't have to write any of this from scratch. If we have templates, like if the artists are passing around templates, the configuration file will be exactly the same except for the art file that it passes. But I've noticed like some of the hair sprites are already different sizes. I need position info to put those on an avatar. So that's the data part that we'll have to come up with. And when we see the demos, what you're basically going to do is you're going to load up the tool. It's going to show a naked avatar. You're going to put your single item. You're going to position it on the avatar and then hit save, and you get that JSON file. Maybe it needs tweaks. Maybe you need to like add advanced configuration. But if you needed that, you'll know. And if you want to accomplish something like that, I'd be happy to help to get the templates right or get your JSON configured right. So let me talk about why I need JSON. There are three main things which I'll highlight here, which are the most important parts I care about for complicated items with a lot of features and capability. So if you have a single item that has multiple colors, we want to be able to identify those colors and keep them sorted as like, this is the same item, but it comes in these different colors. Then also animations, like I've seen a blinking turnip hat is the demo item for that right now. I can't demo animations today, but animation frames follow that same rule of you have additional sprites that will be used throughout the animation. And lastly, layers. So I really like the idea of making it a little bit easier for the artist crew. If you have like a coat and some of those pixels should be behind the avatar and some of them should be in front, you might be tempted to like fill in around the armpits of the avatar so that you have like a completely matching silhouette of where the back of the jacket should be. But suddenly that starts to get a little tricky when you have things like hair is draping down, or hair is draping down in front, or just different things are in different layers. I want to be able to give you the option to draw just the back of a jacket, like the avatar's invisible even. And then we'll draw that layer of the back of the jacket before we draw the avatar, and it will just perfectly look like the jacket's behind them. So what that will look like is you'll have sprites for the front layer and sprites for the back layer, and then when we stack all the images, they get stacked in the right order, and you have a lot easier time generating art, and it's probably even a little bit more resistant to like changes in the avatar later on. Like if the avatar image gets tweaked, then your multi-layer things will probably hold up better than things that are perfectly matched to the armpit silhouette or whatever. Just I'll do. I can't demo layers today either, but I'll show you my configs and stuff what I'm working on with that. And the most important part is where the item goes on the avatar. So the easiest thing you can do as an artist is if you have that same image size as the avatar and you draw the image or draw your piece of clothing over top of the avatar on a separate layer and then save that one layer, bam, you're done. The config is just, it's full size, position is 0, 0. We're ready to draw it. And a lot of items are like that already. Super easy to configure. I'll show you how quick it is with the tool when we get to that. So we're using the tool to make this config. This is the gist of it, is like if we have a small sprite of like these shorts, they have a position on the avatar where they match up with the figure of the avatar. And the 50 and 69 are the numbers that correspond with the size of the sprite itself. The position is the new information that I need. And this thing that says sprite array, you only have to worry about that if you have like color variants or animation frames or multiple layers that you want to provide. And I want to be able to let you guys do very complex sprite sheets that include all three of those features. But presently, pretty much color is the only one that's really working. But if you just have one single image, great. It's 1 by 1 by 1. We're ready to use it at that point. So position would be the only thing you have to define, and you won't have to type this out because the tool is going to spit this config out, which is most of the demo stuff today. So, and then for user configuration, for something like these shorts, there's no configuration. The configuration is, are you wearing the shorts or aren't you? The other thing to configure is what layer they're on, but that's not a configuration of the item. That's like when the item gets applied in the stack. So we'll I'll show that by my command line rendering tool in a bit. So the user is going to pick the color variation, which in terms of art, that means that they are picking which sprite on the sprite sheet. And in case that's not clear, let me go to like, here are the beards, and let me just blow this up. So this is a beard sprite sheet. And if I said I want like a red beard, that would mean I'm picking this beard out of the sheet. So when the user picks their color, we're basically telling the graphics system, render this sprite sheet, but clip out the part that's the one instance that I want. Likewise with these, let me open up another one. These leggings. So these leggings, exact same thing, that this is snipped to the spot where the leggings actually are, and then stacked up. And by the way, the stacking across, stacking up and down, literally no problem whatsoever to do these both ways. I'll show you how to get these to cooperate with the current stacker. Whichever way you want to do it that way. I can handle anything you throw at me. Even already I can do that. So that's the user's configuration, is choosing the color. Once I have that, I crop it to that section so that the user selection is the only part left. We put it at the right spot on the avatar, and that's the stacking process. Okay, so yeah, user selects the items they want. They pick the color option they want, and they put the order that they want them to be rendered. And this is just to kind of like get around glitches of things looking like they're not in the right order on top of you. And I think I can make that mostly automatic. I'll need some help from the artists making that foolproof, and I think there might still be some edge cases. We should probably let people nudge the layers up and down to make things work more correctly. But I think if we stick to some standard numbers, like this is pants will always have the layer value of 3, shirts 4, hair 6. You know, like we could pick numbers like that, put them in all the configs, and then stuff will automatically find the right layer. But, that's TBD. Right now I'm still doing it by hand. We pick the sprites out of the sheets. We draw them on top of each other. And when animations are done. We do this with just stepping through all the animation frames, and you can have multiple animated items all at the same time on different parts of your character. That's going to require some coordination in that we're going to have like a strict frame speed and number of frames to the animations. I don't actually care what those numbers are, but they do have to be the same for every single item or animation gets super complicated. Maybe we can have some configuration to that, but that's not part of this talk. It's just I'm planning ahead for us doing that, and I already have a blinking turnip hat to test it on. Okay, so the features we're going to go over today in the demos is I'm going to show you how to configure items. This is like, as an artist, you are deciding where this goes on your avatar and verifying that it's showing up where you want it. And then also giving the users the ability to select a color. I call that the advanced configuration. And I should probably, because I was tinkering with this like 30 minutes before we started talking, and I got advanced things to render. So that's really a good chance to have a bug show up, is that I can do something I just worked on a half hour ago live in front of people. And no layers. I tried. I've got some really good ideas. I just didn't quite make it there in terms of reading the config back out of the JSON file and automatically finding the layers for stuff. So let's make a bit of a mess. And I need a web browser. Here it is. And I need to run the configuration maker. Okay, so what I'm going to run is, let me put that, and let's pick a image. So let me show you what I'm working with. This is just the demo items, and maybe these are kind of hard to see as examples, but let's take like I don't think I configured shirt.png, and I think this might be an easy one, so probably good to start with a easy one. So let's start with shirt.png, and when I start this tool, this nice little GUI is going to come up. And let me zoom in a little bit too. So if you had a small sprite that you needed to position, all you got to do is use these knobs. Like I know, like you might know the numbers, just type them in. In this case, it's just 0 and 0. That's the position. Great. So if I hit save, we're going to get this JSON file that basically has the position info in it. Okay, so that's one easy way to configure item. So let me cancel that, and let's go back to the item list. Let's find one that's like a little bit more difficult. So let's say like I already configured it, but let's say the socks. So I'll fire up this tool with the lowercase s socks.png. Okay, so here's the tool. You can see the socks are like way not in the right spot. So I'm just going to kind of rough place them. That's, maybe right about there, maybe a little bit less that way. And basically what I'm setting is this X and Y coordinate, and then I'll just kind of nudge it into the right spot. And the advanced tool is a little bit better. Believe me, this is like so hacky at the moment, but we'll get there. So I think that's probably the right spot. Now if I hit save, I get this JSON file for socks.json. Okay, so now I've individually configured those items. Now let's do some stacking. So the stacking is that like we're using the same tools to stack items, all the items together, as that item configurer is using to put the single item on top of the avatar. So it's a different command, but it uses the same library. And I'm going to say stacker test, and I have a JSON file for my avatar. Again, like I think I could probably do this so that you select a color to select your own variation of skin. That'll work just fine. So let's slap some stuff on here. I have like and the order is really sensitive, or things will look like they're in the wrong order. That's still something I'm working on. But let me just put some hair. Let me put the head deco star, a cone hat, and those socks we just configured, and maybe like the shorts, like a pair of underwear, and then the shirt. I think it was capital shirt.json, and what else you want to call it, like jeans or pants JSON. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell it to stack all that stuff up, and now I'm gonna open that image it created. So this would either be like on the web, you would see your avatar in progress, or any of that stuff. So if we look at what this has come up with, like those pink shorts are kind of showing over the top and through the holes in the jeans. The socks are showing through the jeans there. I'm wearing that shirt, although maybe the hair should be like moved to, yeah, the hair should be moved to another layer to put that on top. And maybe actually the star should go on top of the hat too. So to fix that, I would either be like dragging the things around and put them in a different order, but either how all of the items are showing up there. So voila. And I do want to warn you guys that like what I've noticed is like your sets are gorgeous. Your sets are really well coordinated and they're complete and they have a lot of stuff going on, but you have to be prepared for people to dress like absolute trash goblins. It's going to happen. Like, people are not going to pick stuff out of the sets. They're going to mix and match everything. They're going to leave their pants off. That, like, trash goblins. Not you, Mouse. But yeah. And actually, let me just, like, tease Mom in the chat there with just, like, some of the first, like, trash goblin renders that are coming out. But yeah, like, it's that simple to put any number of items together. But now, let me, like, I showed you some of those, the sprite sheets of various different items. Let me do the advanced config. So if you are a little bit more tolerant for numbers and sliders and want to make your own sprite sheets, we can do config maker advanced. And I'm going to start with the raw image of my particular skin. And now let's pick, like, let's go with the leggings.png. Okay, so same thing here. And you might notice that this one is like it's a little bit more buttons to it, right? It's a little more controls to it. So the first thing you might notice is, like, not only is the pants in the wrong place. Oh, let me answer that. Does everything have to have a unique name? No, everything will be coded. Like, when you get this JSON file, it's going to be yours to put your name on it, whatever. When it goes to the workflow, that's when it's going to be associated with you as the artist, and it will get a unique code even if the name is an exact duplicate. So you can name a million things pants. Maybe we even have tags to help people search for stuff, but that's, yeah. Don't worry about it. It will all have its own separate row in the database. But yeah, this advanced configure thing here, we have a lot more sliders, but the way I specifically want you to think of doing this is like, okay, there's a couple of leggings stacked up. So the main thing we want to do is set that number of how many images there are. So I think it's 4, but let me just go show you how to, if you can't remember, to just keep increasing it. Like, this one's partially cut off, so you're probably getting close. Okay, so this is just a single pants. So now let me try to, like, position these leggings more or less on the avatar. And I think we got to, like, nudge this guy a little bit. And this has always been a little bit fun for me, is like nudging things into the right position. Maybe that can go a little bit. I honestly think it could go either way. I can't remember exactly where. It's like good for the artist to personally do this step of the config. Okay, so that's in position. But now, all I did was set the number of sprites, and it automatically did the division to say, like, okay, if there's 4 sprites, then I know that each sprite is 109 pixels high. And the other thing you can do to make sure this is correct is let's cycle through the sprite sheet and look at these. So if I look at these other leggings, they're all in the same spot, which means the sprite sheet is being read correctly. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's all the sprites that we have. Actually, is there a... if that doesn't render, you might have to hit the render button. Yeah, so there's the pants. And if I hit save, this is going to say leggings advanced. Okay, so that's my advanced config file. So now let's take our... I'm going to close that now. Let's take our same stacker, but I'm going to go to the advanced stacker. So, okay, we're going to do advanced stacker. All of those images were simple, right? All those images had a single sprite. Now I'm going to add the leggings, and I'm going to just take the pants off. So let's not go all the way wrong here. Okay, so now we're stacking with a single advanced item, and when I go to run this, what you'll see is like the body, the hair, the star, the cone hat, the socks, the shorts, the shirt. Every single one of those items was a single sprite, and the system automatically said there's no options, just place the item. When we got to leggings, it said, whoa, now this is a 1x4x1 sprite sheet. So now let's pick the variant of leggings we want. I'm picking a coordinate for a sprite, but this will be provided by the user when they pick the color from the dropdown or whatever. So if I just hit like number 2, we get a render file name, which, you know, this would be like uploaded on the server or whatever now. And notice it has like a timestamp. So this is like instantaneously a unique file name. And let's have a look at that guy. And now we've rendered this same kind of outfit, but the result is that the variation of leggings I put is selected there. So I picked number 2, and we get that number. And actually what's bugging me now is, let's go back to that. Let's take, where's the hair? I'm going to put the hair last. Hair.json. And then it's going to ask, and I'm going to pick a number 3 for the salmon one, and then the hair was done last. So let's have a look at how that came out. Okay, so as a result, now the hair is flowing over the shoulders because it got rendered last. But wrongly, all my head decorations are off of there. So I really want to get to layers. I don't think it will take a lot more time. Let me just like manually layer these correctly now. So if I say head deco star and cone hat, I don't even really care for the cone hat, honestly. It has its place, but not on this fit. So let's say assets head deco star.json, and I'll go with like a white or black leggings. I can't remember. Thank you, baby. I'm being given a sandwich. So let me pull this thing. So now what I've done, oh, that's pretty good. The leggings and the hey, it's a good cone hat. I just don't think it goes with this fit. So now the leggings and the shirt are honestly a good match there. The hair is going over the shoulders, and the head deco stars over top of that. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the end of the live demo. Is like I'm able to take your sets and put them onto an avatar, kind of a little bit manually right now. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Really, like, I think I'm probably like 6 or 7 hours of development to get this stacker working where it's at. I really want the layers, and let me just show you a couple more JSON files there. So if we get like the beard, let me just scroll up here. So obviously the beard is not like a hugely complicated file either, because we have like the sprite size and then the number of sprites, and the rest is just math. But the other thing is that you got to name your colors. And even if you, yeah, like I could put a beard on this guy now. Like, should we, let's put the beard under the hair. Beard advanced.json. Okay, so now it should ask me about the beard too. I'm gonna go with beard. Wait, this is leggings first. Now I'm gonna go with what were the leggings? I think 1 was the black leggings. And for beard, I'm just gonna pick like the original black beard or whatever, and then the rest of that stuff got put on. So let's have a look at that guy. So, oh, that is fantastic. So, I mean, it's already, I think, really versatile, and I'm just really looking forward to getting it more directly in your guys' hands. So, uh, here you go. It's big. Okay. So, like, also what I can see is like what I can see on Discord now that that's loaded up is that the leggings are probably misaligned. Is that I probably need to nudge those up one more pixel, or maybe like they're from different revisions of the avatar and it needs to go like down and left or something. So like those kind of bugs I think should show up on uh in the workflow. Like before it gets approved for people to start putting this on in their wardrobe, we need to find the bugs. Like I can also see like some gaps in the hair, you know, and like no offense to your guys' work, it's incredible. Uh, the hair is gorgeous, but I see some like transparent pixels. Maybe I got the position a little bit wrong. It needs to go to the left one and up one, you know, something like that. So like it takes some fine tuning to get the stuff in the right spot, but those uh, the sprite sheets can yeah, you probably did, Maze. It's my fault. I'm the one that picked the position of it. So the beard is too low. Yeah. So I mean like everything is like you know, the position is highly dependent, and now I'm like mixing and matching shit. So that's really going to make it like insane level of complexity or room for error. So uh yeah, I'm super happy with getting this far. And the tool that I used, in case mouse is still on, the configurator that I was building is Stacker. No, we need to go to Config Maker, and yeah, we'll just go back to the leggings. It has like no memory, none of that stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hit render. It forgot. Okay. So like this thing is able to put the stuff, you know, just layer stuff up on top of it. This UI is written in a Python library called NiceGUI, which allows me to just from the Python code that's doing the image rendering anyway. Our backend's all Python, so I needed to do the image processing in Python. I was able to slap together these meters and number boxes with that, and it's still the most like I love my front end guys. I am terrible with front end. It's so difficult for me to just even get the images to show, like to get these things to show up in columns next to each other was probably the most difficult part of getting this thing to work for me. So it's yeah.
It looks nice. It
Thanks.
I think it's the front end job to, because ideally you'd be moving the X and the Y around it. You'd be immediately see it on the preview, right? But that's
Yes.
something for us to do.
And this like if you do that, like we could for configuration purposes give the user the image of the pants, the image of the body, and let the front end move it around so the pixels line up. That's permissible because it's the artist working with their own art. They can have the raw sprites. But what this is actually doing is it's you can even see it blink. Like if I change the sprite, it's gonna blink when it regenerates that image because it's doing the entire avatar rendering process with the body in this single item. So it's the reason I did it this way is because I care about what the server is rendering. So if we ever have issues that like the front end preview and the back end single image generator are not matching up, that's going to be a pain to debug. But I also really think we do need to do that because people want a really responsive interface to configure their like to generate this JSON file is important to get the configuration for the position and whatnot. And if you
Yeah.
once you have a JSON, if you need to tweak it, you know, it's permissible to just kind of like open it up in Notepad and try to adjust the numbers a little bit. So yeah, it's should be that probably is a little bit more spot on, but
Yeah, we'll have to figure out how to exactly do the implementation of that to
yeah.
make it easiest for the artists.
And yeah, it's going to take a lot of front end. I think for a while it's going to be a little bit of a pain. Sorry to say, guys. It's going to be a bit tricky when you have art to get it configured right so that it renders. And I just want to volunteer that, like, I want you guys to keep making art. I want you to start making more art for the purposes of getting it into this system, and ask for my help to get it configured correctly, and that you're happy with how it looks when it's actually rendered on top of people. But yeah, I feel a real urgency to get this out. I'm meeting with the uh, all the presidents that can make it, hopefully November 11th, and I want to get like their take on how much more do we absolutely need to do to actually let people start using this. And obviously, letting artists generate their configs and letting people start generating their own avatars is critical to getting the front door open. So yeah, and this tool does let you zoom in, but I feel like there are some issues with it, like it's doing some, whatever you want to call it, like fuzzing the pixels and blurring it to make it quote unquote look nicer, but it's actually making it more difficult to see the pixels. So, all right, I've talked this whole time. Do you guys have any questions or things you really want to hear about, or commentary on it? Go. Thanks for being here, by the way. I appreciate the support. Got some typing. Thank you, Gal. I appreciate y'all holding out for like really what should have been like one of the most early and important features, right? And we're just now getting to it. But I hope this is really uh, like really catches some people on fire for getting us moved through to release at this point. Dark mode, okay, noted. I will do my best to provide a dark mode, but that's also kind of a front end thing, because I consider this tool to be primitive, and like it demonstrates the functionality, but we need to make it nice and probably even fit the style of Citopia the page, because people will want to submit their art in a way that's like coherent with Citopia's own front end for the forum, right? So, but in terms of getting us, like, if you want to use this as a separate tool for beta mode and start getting your art ready for submission, I definitely want to make this tool available quickly so that people can get to messing around and yeah, putting together their sprite sheets and making everything work out well. Probably something else I wanted to note is like the beard sprite sheet, the legging sprite sheet, the multiple instances. I really want to have a thing where you can just like drag or use the upload button and put like 10 different images in, and then the website, the program will say like, oh, well, those are all exactly the same size. Let me make a sprite sheet out of it and also figure out the numbers to configure the sprite sheet. So you really should just do, like, I want the artist to do whatever you already like doing with Photoshop or whatever you're using, GIMP. Just toss the items in, verify that this thing, when you click through the different variations, okay, that looks correct. It's in the right spot. You're done. Now you hit save. All you got to do is give it a name and upload it for approval on Citopia, or once this is part of Citopia's own website code. All you got to do is hit submit, and now other people are looking at it, checking for offensive material, checking for stray pixels, checking for that you didn't just rip off the art from somebody else already on Citopia, and then bam, Bob's your uncle, it's ready to go in. And I one day really want to have a talk about, like, okay, this item exists in the database. How do people get a hold of it? Is it going in the shop? Does it cost money? Do some of those coins from playing mini games you have to spend them on clothes? Do the artists get a commission in actual mini game coins when people buy their clothes? How many are there available for people to buy? And like that whole thing about like the mini games and the economy and making clothing on the site into commodities is honestly the most exciting thing about this site, is that potentially you have like artists getting rich because they uploaded a popular item, or people are playing the mini games more because they want to get all the different colors of an artist's particular stuff and give people little badges for completing sets, and they bought every item in the whole collection. Like that is, you know, just lining up this clothing pixel by pixel is really making me draw from my game development goofing around, and I can't wait to apply that further in making the site more alive with not just art that people have made, but like activities and community around acquiring and using those items. So, end of rant. I need to eat my food now. You guys have anything else you want to know before I declare victory and end the meeting? Thanks, guys. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate your attention, and can't wait to send you some kind of URL so you can start configuring your items and ask me anything. Having a great time. Okay, recording being shut down. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, and I appreciate you. Bye bye.